If I asked you to tell me your story, where would you begin? Would you start with the best parts? Would you start with the worst parts? Would you make a judgment about it before telling me? Would you make a judgment about me before telling me? It's very important how you begin to tell your story to anyone, whether it's a potential client, a potential customer, in your marketing, a potential new friend, a new neighbor, someone you randomly met in a store. It all sets up the future, but most of all, it sets up you. I'm Leah Kraft-Kristaine, and I know absolutely, after working with many clients, both business clients and individual clients, that how we think about our own personal story affects us dramatically. Sometimes we have delivered our story so many times that we don't think about it. We just don't ponder it. And I'm asking you to think this through, especially on this particular day when you've noticed this video. Think about how you are impacting yourself every time you tell your story. If you tell your story as one truthfully of difficulty overcome, bravo. If you are talking about how you learned to do something, or maybe difficult circumstances required you to learn things you had not previously planned to learn, but you did it. You may have mastered it, but in any case, you achieved what you needed to achieve. If you tell your story as a struggle only, without talking about any of the overcomings, I want you to think about what that can do to your spirit that day, this moment. How does that affect you? How does it feel when you have labeled yourself in such negative ways that it causes a landslide within, an avalanche, plummeting to the bottom of the valley? It can take a while to recover from your very own words, from your own words, even after you leave that conversation. I highly recommend that you think through how you want to present yourself and think about how it is affecting you first. You might be assessing the person who's listening to you, and you might think, well, this person doesn't look like they've had a very easy life, and I'm going to make sure that I don't say anything too delightful about my life. Well, we can do that. We can have empathy. We can look with our eyes and our hearts to see what we're seeing. And if we choose to maintain our friendships with people, we need to be aware of how likely it is we can enjoy our own being of ourselves, how easy it is for us to be quick to find answers, or determined to reach a solution, or unstoppable. Do you have friends that love it when you are that way? And do you have friends who also are that way? I hope so. Because too often, we have friends that we feel that we want to downplay what we've accomplished. We don't talk about what we've achieved. And eventually that friendship, it can wither and die simply because we are not able to be honest. We are not able to be authentic. We are not able to be the full bloom that we have become and allow ourselves to continue to grow. They may be acquaintances, but it's hard to be friends unless it's a true friendship of the heart where that person is cheering you on to every win you have. That is a friend. What I am suggesting is that we do not become less in order to fit in with the company we are keeping. Think about that. Do not allow yourself to become less than who you are, thinking that otherwise you will offend the people you are around or the person you are around. Today, think about how you tell your story and think about how you would like to tell your story in a way that you know is true for you. And think it through clearly more than once. How will it be received by those who are cheering you on? How will that very same story be received by others? It's your choice to spend friendship time with people that you cannot be authentic with, or minimal time with people you cannot be authentic with. I'm not saying that you should leave people by the wayside, not at all. I am saying all of us need to be true to ourselves, need to lift our story to where it's deliverable in a way that is true to ourselves and helps us to keep in mind the strengths we've learned, the distance we've come, the objectives we've met, the challenges we have leapt over, because that is what's going to give us energy. And maybe you'll choose not to mention your history much at all. That's all right too. And maybe you will say simply, I have been very blessed. Or I have been so blessed, I have not had immense challenges to overcome. But I've had other challenges that are unseen. And thankfully, I've worked my way through those. Think about your story today. Write down the highlights of your life. Write down the highlights in terms of what you have overcome. And in doing that, you will have a more true, more clear, and more uplifting picture of who you have become. Please join me here again at Life Crafting with Leah KK, or go to my website at leahkk.com or lifecraft.com. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.